So just yesterday at the Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase, we had a surprise shadow drop announcement of 5 different Nintendo Switch online games in the form of RC Pro AM and Snake Rattle and Roll on the NES, Battletoads and Battle Maniacs and Killer Instinct on the Super NES, and Blast Corps on the N64. And in today's video, I want to boot up a few of these games together, share my initial gameplay experience with you all, and have a broader conversation on where we might be headed with the future of NSO updates from here on the Nintendo Switch. What's up, Nation? Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on your bell notification to join Sunbro Nation if you're new here. And guys, today we are checking out a few of the brand new NSO titles that shadow dropped at the Partner Direct yesterday. I did not expect the rareware section when we had that logo loading up. For a minute, I had hope that maybe DK64 or Diddy Kong Racing might be coming over, but nonetheless, we got some rareware classics that I'm really excited to see on Nintendo Switch Online. And we are in a month, February, that we didn't have any updates up to this point in time. So it was a very welcome addition. Seems like the internet not that happy with the Partner Direct. It seems like a lot of people were like not under the impression that it was a partner showcase. They were thinking mainline first party Nintendo games might show up there, which I tried to do in the video and warn you guys, there will not be first party announcements at a Partner Direct. And that's why I even questioned if NSO would be in there at all. And you might remember that I didn't think that it would. And I certainly didn't think we were going to get something like a GameCube edition. I mean, I definitely think there was some lofty hype and expectations out there that you just shouldn't really let yourself fall into. But I will tell you that, you know, getting a shadow drop of 5 different NSO games, some of which are not the most common. Like, for example, Rareware is now owned by Microsoft. So yes, Microsoft and Nintendo clearly working together. We even had a couple other Microsoft titles revealed at that event coming to Nintendo Switch, but there's still some extra money and fees involved on Nintendo's part when you're going to get a game that has the licensing rights to Rareware that Microsoft owns. You see their names in the credits. There's definitely a check being written somewhere when those type of games come over. So to see all of these featured, I thought was a really big win. And to get 5 of them shadow dropped on the same day for the February update, also big win. Not to mention, we are playing an SNES game right now that is not a bottom of the barrel game. And I think that that's very exciting because, you know, with SNES and even NES, we've just kind of seen, it seems like for the last I mean, really not that far back. I was going to say 4 or 5 years. That's literally almost been since the service was started adding games into those consoles. But really for the last couple of years, I would say, we've seen more small, you know, discount bin titles, if you will, the ones that Nintendo's kind of run out of their big first party titles, and instead of getting some of the licensing rights for like Star Wars, Mickey Mouse, Goof Troop, like a bunch of, you know, old classics for the NES, SNES, it seems like they've more or less just shifted to those simple games that maybe you may or may not have nostalgia for. So to see games like Battletoads and then Killer Instinct, which we will briefly hop into next, it's really cool to see on the service. And in fact, let's go ahead and hop into Killer Instinct now, so that way we're not okay. I swear sometimes I hit the same button to go back and then it's not going to do it all of a sudden. Hold please. There we go. Okay, I don't know what was going on with that. So back to game selection, we're going to go into Killer Instinct. I'm just glad we saw some good love for NSO, and specifically I loved the Super Nintendo. I don't know about you guys, that was like my first console that was really mine, that I could play in any length of time. You know, really had like my first deep dive into gaming with the Super Nintendo. And so, you know, to get some love from classic games in that era, I think is awesome. And for a minute there, I definitely thought with Nintendo Switch Online, we were going to be, you know, continuing the kind of bottom of the barrel games, and that's not what I was hoping for. So to get this shadow drop, I was definitely excited. Killer Instinct, I think they may still be working on the big return for this series. I can't remember what the latest rumor talk is for that, but I know we saw essentially like the teaser for it that Microsoft was doing something. This was a little bit one of those games that I think was maybe controversial in my household because of like how the cover art looked. So I don't remember playing this a bunch as a kid, but then later on realized in life like just how good of a fighting game this is. And to be fair, I've never been the biggest, you know, 1v1 fighter fan out there compared to a lot of other people. So, you know, I think that this plays great, and it's obviously got some great characters and things, but I don't have quite the same level of nostalgia for it as I do for Battletoads and some of the others. And then we have to talk about the possibility of rare games on NSO now, because when we just get a single drop of 5 rare games all at the same time on the service, just in a random direct, I think that really opens up the floodgates for the rest of rare games that are missing right now, like your Donkey Kong 64, like your Diddy Kong Racing. I would even argue that that Conker's Bad Fur Day is likely on the table now, with how we have, you know, there's literally 18 rated or M rated. Well, there's not an M rated app in the US, but around different regions of the world, there is now 18 rated versions of the NSO app, which is really nice, because what you can do with that is you can lock away that controversial M-rated game, if you will. We'll wait for this to download real quick and come back. But as mentioned, you can lock away like an M-rated game on its separate app and lock it behind parental controls. And so Nintendo did that with GoldenEye, and not only with GoldenEye, but what's the other one? There was another game that, Jet Force Gemini, that has a higher rating in Japan and other regions of the world. So they're okay with doing that and bringing those games to the service. It's just that you have to do it in a different way. So we'll just throw anything on the name here. I vaguely remember playing this game as a kid, but honestly, very little. I never owned it, so may have been at a friend's house. So we're just gonna hop into the gameplay and see if I can figure it out. Also see how it's aged with all of, you know, obviously we're talking about a N64 game that okay, I'm assuming that is like out of bounds, but even though the arrow kind of seems like it's telling me to go over there, I don't even know really exactly what the concept of this game is. So we're going to figure this out together. But okay, so the destruction on this building is essential. So are we just kind of like bulldozing buildings? Yeah, I think that's what's going on here. This is good. This is good N64 fun chaos right here. But I do think that, you know, yeah, a game like Conker's Bad Fur Day, it's in the conversation. Perfect Dark, also in the conversation. And then you talk about that with Donkey Kong 64 and Diddy Kong Racing. Like, we really still do have a lot of very quality content to come to the N64 library of games. And, you know, obviously with it not being a mainline direct, like I mentioned earlier, I wasn't expecting a ton of love for NSO, like a game's updated roadmap. But to get 5 games shadow dropped, I think was a big win. And now I'm curious, since we kind of got all libraries updated super recently, except for the Game Boy family of systems. You'll notice no Game Boy Color or Game Boy Advance games added in as part of this. So maybe those are next in line. And I think if we get a Game Boy family of systems update, so you get something Game Boy Advance for the expansion pack, and then you get, I would say, you know, a couple Game Boy Advance games or Game Boy Color games slash regular Game Boy games for, you know, say 2 or 3 of those. I think we got a really solid February on our hands at that point. And it might not be February for those updates, but I hope it's sooner rather than later. At this point, I am questioning, okay, well, I have a red dot on the map here. So this is this guy. So I guess I go back here now. Well, gosh, I mean, this game just seems like fun destruction, but, you know, Blast Corp, it's one, like I said, not familiar with it, but you have 5 different games to check out and hop into now. I think I will skip on checking out the NES ones. I actually do need to at some point in time. Okay, so I'm guessing we don't want to do that, or is that actually the goal at the end of the? You guys can just make fun of me in the comments for not knowing how to play this game, but that is okay. Press start will allow you to view. Okay, so yeah, I'm assuming we did not want to do that. So we'll just go on back to destroying all the essential stuff. But yeah, a lot of fun. We got an N64 game shadow dropped. We got 2 SNES games, and I just hope that the slowdown really does not, or that there's not a big slowdown with NSO updates. As long as we stay consistent with the consistency with the cadence of updates, I'm good with the service. It's just whenever we go more than a month at a time without hearing anything from Nintendo and no communication, that it starts to get to me a little bit. So we will have to see what's around the corner in terms of updates next, but there is some rumors of an April Nintendo Direct right now. I'm not entirely sure. That seems like a stretch, just because Nintendo hasn't done that, I should say, in a very, very long time. But we may see something like that with an updated games roadmap. But we are definitely in uncharted territories for Nintendo this year, and I really think that since they are leaning so heavily on the basically like a lighter software lineup potentially to launch their new console, this would be the perfect year to kind of go NSO blowout and really give us a lot of content to play on this from a retro perspective. So I'm hopeful they do that. We will ultimately have to see and find out, but let me know in the comments down below if you have nostalgia for any of the games that dropped, if you've checked any of them out yet, and which games you hope we see added into N64, Game Boy family of systems, and NES and SNES. And do you think Nintendo might actually continue to do more, I guess, quality titles or licensed titles for NES and SNES again? Or do you think that this was just a one-off update for this direct partner showcase? So regardless of your thoughts and feelings on everything we talked about today, I do look forward to hearing from you all in the comments down below before you leave the video, as I do look forward to getting a back and forth conversation started with you all around these topics. Go watch the video on screen next if you haven't already. Also make sure you like, subscribe, turn on your notification bell, and I will see you guys in the next video.